WeGroup helps insurance providers to make a better connection with their growing group of digital customers. This is done via Louise, their 24/7 virtual assistant. Today, they will showcase use cases from their current markets, which will soon also innovate new markets such as Germany and Austria. Next on stage, WeGroup.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Arvid. I am co-founder and CEO of WeGroup, and at WeGroup, we make insurance great again. Now, when we talk about insurance, we immediately see three major issues. First of all, a big problem with inefficiency. That is something that I normally don't have to explain in front of an audience like this, but all processes or a lot of processes go very, very slow. And obviously, that is a big problem in our bottom lines, right? Secondly, a big problem with customer satisfaction, because let's be honest, nobody wakes up in the morning and says, this is my insurance day, right? So obviously we need to solve that. And last but not least, a substandard use of technology, and maybe even more specific, a substandard use of data. Because ladies and gentlemen, today we live in a world where vast amounts of data are available, yet insurance providers, insurance brokers, they fail to use that data properly, and therefore they fail to know their customers properly, right? Now, fortunately, there is WeGroup, and WeGroup brings its solution in three ways. First of all, data-driven analysis. We use external data sets, over 900 to be correct, that are linked to your systems and learn you everything there is to know about your customers without giving us any data in return. Secondly, robotic automation. We automate as much processes as possible to make sure that we can reduce time as much as possible. And last but not least, customer interface and customer interaction experience. That is, of course, very important within our platform. That needs to be very intuitive, but also when we communicate to the end customer. Now, for that, we have created Louise. And Louise is indeed your 24/7 digital virtual assistant that will help initially insurance brokers with a lot of their processes, such as claims handling, such as underwriting, such as sales, and so on and so forth. Now, one of the major things we see over here is a new conversation. So let's fire up a new conversation with Louise. First of all, Louise wants to know the customer a little better. So she asks a little bit of personal information, of course, some GDPR boxes, and the address of the customer. Based on that address, we know everything there is to know to start and handle that customer. So what you will see over here is that Louise has created a thorough image of the property, for example, building materials used, the height of the building, the volume of the building, the surface, everything that you want to know to determine the risk of your customer. But next to that, everything you want to know to determine the need of your customer. So based on image recognition, we see, okay, this guy has a house, but he also has a garden or a garden shed or a swimming pool, so we know exactly what his need is. When we go on, we will also see that Louise makes some assumptions. So for example, as you can see over here, Louise determines there is a carport, and therefore she says, I know, we are talking about property over here, but maybe there might be some potential for cross-selling, for upselling, and buy a car insurance as well. So if we go on, we will see that Louise has a couple of more questions. For example, she knows the number of rooms based on the volume and so on and so forth. And in the end, she will ask some personal questions. What is important to you, dear customer? Is it your pets, for example, your digital tools, and so on and so forth? Last but not least, the same goes for automotive. Because we have said that we wanted to buy car insurance as well, we simply type in our license plate number, and based on that, we know everything there is to know about your car. So we see all the information about the car, even the color is something that we know. So you can easily do the risk assessment here. Last but not least, we also need the driver's license, because of course that is an important factor of the risk as well. And what Louise will do now is actually look within the portfolio of the broker and look at all the companies that he is working with. So you can see that it takes several insurance companies and it makes a matching score with them. And that matching score is purely based on the need of the customer. So as you can see in the stars, we will say, okay, we see that the garden is very important for you. So this is very well covered in insurance policy X. Why in insurance policy Y? Something else that is important to you might be very well covered. We can even compare them. If your client asks, okay, what is now the difference between this? Then we simply see all the terms and agreements of an insurance policy and therefore can compare them. Now, obviously, In the end, the client can immediately register with his broker when he is using this face-to-face online, if the broker is putting this on the website, or even in a direct way, right? He can simply do that by ticking some boxes like you would do on an e-commerce platform. Now, of course, handling new sales is not the most important part of insurance. It is, of course, important that we can service the products as well. So as you can see now, we see that a new claim comes in. And what is the problem there most of the time? That is, if a new claim comes, most of the time customers won't give all the information. They forget to say when it happens, they forget to upload a picture, and so on and so forth. So we all lose time by answering and reconnecting to those clients. So what our NLP system does is what you can see over here. We have the email from our broker, and Louise automatically responded to that. So she says, okay, dear John, I see that you have a claim. Congratulations with that, John. But obviously you forgot your time and date, for example. We do need that to complete your file. Now, when we go back to the platform, we of course see all claims in there. And that is actually very, very interesting, because Louise doesn't only do the first notification of loss, but she starts to handle it as well. Thanks to the fact that WeGroup is an ecosystem, and we connect not only with brokers and insurers, but also with claim surveyors, with TPAs, with repair services, we know exactly where the claim is at which point. So we can easily say, okay, this claim is now being handled, and we estimate that it will take about 10 days before you get an answer from party X or Y. When we scroll down, we will see that all the information from the claim is there as well, but that Louise starts to validate it. So she says, okay, we have a storm damage over here, so storm damage is covered in the policy, that's right, but there are also some requirements that needs to be met, right? So we need to check the wind speed, the precipitation. That is all information that she again takes from the external data sources, and in the end she will tell the insurer, okay, this claim is indeed covered within the policy, and we can go over to payout, right? Now with this, of course, Louise has a lot of functionalities, but with this, we conclude the demonstration. What I wanted to tell today, because this is the platform that is used by brokers, is that we see that the market is expanding vastly. Next to the fact that we are servicing brokers and agents, we are also servicing service providers, insurance companies who say, okay, maybe we can use this platform to have a bigger distribution network. Maybe we can use this platform to test new products very fast in the market. So that is something that we are actively doing right now. And last but not least, also third parties. Think e-commerce platforms, claims, car dealers, for example, who say, we do want to integrate an insurance offering within our value proposition, but we have no clue what to do if a claim comes in. Just use Louise, your broker, as a service, and it will be very handy to service everything you want to do. Obviously, I'm not doing this alone. We are 3 co-founders. One of them, our CTO, is joining me here on stage. Another one is somewhere in the audience, our CFO. We are a team of 26 people, have raised about 1.5 million in seed funding. We'll soon start looking for our Series A funding rounds. And we are servicing partners all over Europe today, mainly, like I said, brokers, insurers, and service providers. So as you can see, we clearly know what the problem is today. We clearly have the solution for that. We service a lot of partners, and I am addressing you, dear insurance providers in the room, dear carriers, dear brokers in this room. The only question that I can ask you now is, are you next? Thank you very much.